Hello and welcome to Newsroom series. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Our focus is on the southwest region. But first, let's begin with our top story for the day. The Nigerian Air Force has refuted the reports making the rounds that an Air Force helicopter carrying out an anti-terrorism operation crashed in Tami village in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State. The Air Force Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, told Channels Television that the crash involved an unmanned aerial vehicle on a routine exercise in the early hours of this morning. Air Marshal Gapquet also appealed to the citizens to always verify stories of happenings. Let's start off with some security matters, and the Ogun State Police Command has confirmed 3 armed robbery incidents and abduction of a driver by suspected armed men along the Ijebu-Ode-Shagam Expressway. Police Public Relations Officer, Ogun State Police Command, Omolola Odutola, said a group of armed individuals trailed a man in his vehicle to a rough patch of the road and then blocked him. The criminals fired 4 rounds of ammunition, believed to be from an AK-47 rifle, into the driver's back tire and another shot into the front tire. Immediately, the hoodlums came out from their vehicle and forced the driver into their waiting car and sped off towards Ijebu-Ode. However, no lives were lost in the incident. And from security now to urban development in Ogun State, where the state government has warned allottees of its housing estate across the state who have not occupied their properties to do so within 60 days of allotment. The State Commissioner for Housing, Jamiu Omoni, gave the warning in Abeokuta, the state capital, while clearing the air on some contentious issues in relation to the allotments of the houses to subscribers, which has generated huge reactions in the state.
Provision of affordable housing schemes for low-income earners is one of the priorities and economic agenda of the current administration of Ogun State, aimed at bridging the deficit, especially for low-income earners. With this in mind, the Ogun State government set a target of 5,000 units of low-cost houses in Abeokuta, the state capital, as well as Ijebu-Ode and Ilaro areas of the state, out of which about 4,000 units are being completed.
I welcome you all to Ogun State Ministry.
While this has been achieved, the allocation processes have been a bone of contention, with some subscribers alleging fraud, a claim that the government has debunked, saying that allottees have to pay 3.5 million naira as infrastructure development for roads, water, among others, which is 50% of the infrastructure development.
For every payment, every depositor that comes to us, they pay directly to government accounts, and nobody does any shady deal. When I see people going about spreading all sort of misinformation, what we do next is to look at the record. Is this person justified to make this claim or not? But alas, majority of them has defaulted right from the first day.
The commissioner informed subscribers who have fulfilled the necessary obligations and documentation that letters of allotment will be presented to 110 subscribers on Monday, while initial deposits of about 36 subscribers who failed to fulfill their obligations have their money fully refunded.
We will be allocating 110 housing units immediately. And immediately after this, please look on our notice board. You will see the names there. And these 110 were picked based on their individual circumstances and especially on first come, first serve basis. We'll look at when you pay, we'll look at the serial dates, and we'll pick it in sequence. We'll look at your circumstances. Did you meet up the payment terms as at when due? We'll look at all that.
The commissioner also highlighted the rationale behind the demolition of Ibara Government Reservation Area built in 1976 by the first civilian governor of the state, Chief PC Onabanjo, saying that the development is part of the urban regeneration initiative being carried out in Abeokuta, the state capital, and Ijebu-Ode.
Talking health and still in Ogun State, the wife of the state governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, through her pet project, the Ajose Foundation, has facilitated medical outreach for over 500 indigent residents of the state. The medical outreach, in conjunction with medical experts from the United States of America, rendered medical assistance at the state-owned Olabisi Onabanjo Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, and Ayekwe Central Mosque in Odogbolu local government area. The First Lady, speaking during the event, said the medical interventions have become imperative in order to give succor to those who had been scheduled for surgeries but could not afford the hospital bills for medical procedures and medications.
About 500 indigent residents who are part of the vulnerable in the society who could not afford the exorbitant medical bills and medication are beneficiaries for this year's medical outreach across the country. These medical experts, which include anesthetics, surgeons, generalists, dentists, acupuncturists, ophthalmologists, obstetrics, and gynecologists, among others, are part of a medical team for the Ajose Foundation's 2024 7 Days of Medical Intervention, an outreach initiated by the wife of the Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun.
I'm the anesthetist. I've been with my brother. It's my brother. We fight, but all the stuff we get, I'm telling you, it's over $500,000 worth donated with the supplies, the equipment. We brought a training mannequin for all the anesthesia provider because when someone is in distress, it's between them and crossing over. So we want them to be perfect. They have the training. It actually talks. We were training yesterday, not only the ultrasound, and hopefully the education as well will be special when it comes to Ogun State.
People that we have, a couple of them have breast cancer that we have to do ultrasound for, so they don't have the money. Say, don't worry, So it's just virtually everything I need.
While appreciating the team for their commitment and steadfastness, Mrs. Abiodun emphasizes the need to support the effort of the state government in providing affordable and quality healthcare services, especially for the indigent in the society.
The numbers of people that you attend to is increasing, and hopefully by the grace of God next year it should double what you're doing. People are very, very, very happy because it's not everybody that can afford some basic things that would help to save their lives. So the objective really is to help those that are not able to pay for medical procedures themselves. And as you heard, we have the dentists, we also have the ophthalmologists, we have the surgeons here, we have the OBGYN. We have all sorts of specialists here.
Some of the beneficiaries who could not hide their excitement commended Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun and the medical team for the assistance and relief brought to their lives.
They really try for us, something sincere. They don't even collect any money from us. Even when I did savannah cancer eyes test, now I'm not doing therapy again. I really appreciate them. Everything is free. They don't take any money from us. I really appreciate them. Their work is perfect. May God bless them.
The diaspora medical doctors were drawn from Ukraine, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, among others, for this year's intervention and the screening for eye, diabetes, malaria, and screening for different diseases, as well as treatments.
Staying with the health sector, there is a growing consensus in the global health community that the strategic and innovative use of digital technology will be a key factor in achieving universal health coverage. This was the consensus as key players in the health sector, including the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, met in Lagos for the 4th Africa Digital Health Summit.
President Rawlings, when he was alive, it's a platform for innovators, entrepreneurs, researchers, regulators, policymakers, as well as development partners to share knowledge and experience in digital health across Africa. The digital health, that is where we started from. Also on the agenda is how to identify common healthcare problems across the continent, such as poor access to care, predominantly out-of-pocket payments, emigration of healthcare workers, a lack of accountability, and weak health information systems.
I usually like to use this opportunity.
In his opening remarks, the convener of the event lays the foundation for the conversation, while the keynote speaker from Ghana encourages authorities in Nigeria to improve healthcare services through a holistic approach in data gathering.
We think there has to be collaboration. We need to bring the implementing partners together, the funding agencies. For scalability, there has to be partnerships. What happens when projects are implemented like that is that there's no scalability. At times, oftentimes, you crowd out the private sector.
We have aimed at providing a secure, trusted, and viable national identity system in order to create a secure, dependable, and safe society.
Then comes a fireside chat with the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, who outlines efforts of the federal government in tackling health challenges through digital technology.
We're rebuilding our entire data architecture, which will include standards for EMRs companies that will come into the country and operate. We're talking about a standard for data security, data repository, data governance, and service and data services. So we will now have a well-regulated digital ecosystem where the federal government will be leading the charge. We will now, once this is all done, federal government will just act as regulator of our digital health, but not as service provider. But then would have been able to provide a huge market.
The speakers agree that information and communications technology bring new opportunities for reaching the health-related sustainable development goals. They also believe that technology provides an opportunity to leapfrog some of the issues that characterize the African healthcare landscape.
When we come back on Newsroom series, the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company, that's the IBEDC, has promised power to the residents of Lalukmo community in Lagelu local government area of Oyo State. John State. Welcome back. We're in Oyo State now, where the state government says efforts are underway to make the dream of an international airport become a reality in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, following the federal government's approval for the upgrade of the airport facility. The cheery news was broken by Governor Seyi Makinde when he hosted the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, and his entourage in his office in Ibadan. Governor Makinde explains that his administration's efforts to have the Ibadan airport, Alakia, upgraded to an international airport have yielded positive results, as President Bola Tinubu has approved the upgrade of the facility.
It was a routine visit by the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Baba Abubakar, to the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde. But it became a memorable event for the visitors and residents of Oyo State as the good news of an upgraded airport filtered in. Governor Makinde says his administration has spent the last 5 years turning around the state economy and had identified the need for an upgrade of the Ibadan airport, which is central to its economic expansion agenda.
I was told the president has graciously approved my request for Ibadan airports to be upgraded. I'm going to Abuja Transit, Mr. President, and see if I can get the documents relating to the approval, and within 2 to 3 weeks, we're ready. We will start that project.
The Chief of Air Staff describes the governor as a visionary leader, thanking him for his support to the Air Force. He acknowledges the governor's focus on economic development and enhancing security in the state, noting that the acquisition of 60 hectares of land for the Air Force base at Ajia and the provision of security operational vehicles were commendable efforts of the governor.
Your Excellency, I also would like to thank you profoundly for your amiable disposition and fair support to the armed forces of Nigeria, and particularly your immense support to the Nigerian Air Force. These efforts have contributed significantly to ensuring that the state is peaceful and conducive for sustained socio-economic growth and development.
The excitement from a project of this magnitude and importance reverberates amongst sons and daughters of Oyo State.
It was indeed a cheering news. It was a very happy one that to hear that international status has been approved for Ibadan airports. this is long overdue.
If it's upgraded, if it's really, really upgraded to international standards, and we can go to different places, the east, other places in the north, internationally, it'll be really convenient, and I think it'll attract more businesses.
The Ibadan Airport, commissioned in 1982, is sitting on approximately 557 hectares of landmass. Currently, there are about 7,500 passengers arriving and departing from the airport monthly. Its upgrade is a project that could change the economic landscape of the state and neighboring states for good.
The economic importance or role of airports have evolved dramatically, because once there is increased economic activity, you know that investments, foreign investments will increase, and this can only be accompanied with those infrastructures I talked about. Nobody wants to invest in a state or a region where things are not working appropriately.
As residents wait with bated breath for the game changer, so much work has to be done by government, the private sector, and residents to complement efforts at realizing this dream. Bukola Oriowo, Channels Television News.
Staying with Oyo, residents of Lagelu local government area and its environs have called on the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company PLC, IBEDC, to expedite action on the promise of alternative power sources to energize more than 20 communities affected by years of blackouts. Residents in the affected area took to the streets in protest and barricaded IBEDC's office, carrying placards to register their displeasure. They say businesses and livelihoods have been hampered by the long years of blackouts. Reacting to the protest from these communities, the IBEDC management apologized while also appealing for calm, even as it promised that alternative sources of power are being explored to restore power to the affected areas under 4 weeks.
Last week, residents of not less than 23 communities under the Lalupon feeder staged a protest to one of the IBEDC offices to register their displeasure. They have been contending with blackout for years, and according to the residents, they have made series of appeals to end the darkness.
We are buying transformer myself, wire myself, we are doing everything. IBEDC is not doing anything. What they believe, they have to collect money from the community and go away. And we can't continue like that. And all the businesses in this area has gone down.
Everybody has been moving out of the community, packing out. The landlords have been moving to another place. The tenants have been moving to another place. We have been in this struggle since 2014. And all our effort is in vain.
Following this protest, IBEDC apologizes for years of discomfort caused by the outage and explains that the funding constraints and broken Olodo Bridge in that axis contributed largely to the problems. The company added that about 1.5 billion naira will be required to ultimately fix this problem, but efforts are underway to ensure Lalupon and environs have some reprieve soon.
As part of our commitment to resolve the long-standing issue in this area, IBEDC included project in this performance improvement plan submitted to NEC in year 2022. We got approval of NEC. Unfortunately, we didn't have the funding for the project, which is over 1.5 billion naira as at that time, 2022. Number two challenge is right of way. In March 2023, a bridge collapsed in the Olodo area, resulting in significant challenges to several posts of our network. So that project should take us 3 weeks. It's more like a palliative, so that the people in that area can begin to enjoy supply pending the commencement of the capital projects.
Technical experts from the DISCO conducted an assessment of the areas in need. They promised that at least 30 communities will be energized in the weeks ahead.
As you can see from what we've gone around, we've seen where we have the network breakdown, the bridge that collapsed, our facilities that were washed away by the flood, and all our efforts to ensure that we benefit the Lalupon community. As you can see, we tried merging 3 feeders to ensure that all the customers in Lalupon axis are captured.
The coordinating head, Corporate Services IBEDC, adds that Lalupon and the environment will have a sigh of relief before the end of July.
We are committed to making sure that
at the minimum, in the next 3-4 weeks, the supply situation will improve to Lalupo. So we are engaging our customers and we'll keep engaging them. And we are apologizing once again for the inconvenience, for the pain that we know that this challenge has caused to them.
As the clock ticks on IBEDC's promise, residents hope they will make good their promise this time and get affected communities out of the agony of darkness and the unfriendly noise of generators.
In Lagos now, the state government has commenced the distribution of food palliatives across all local government areas of the state to help reduce the burden of the current economic hardship on the people. The exercise is an initiative of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu being carried out through the State Ministry of Agriculture and the Food Palliative Monitoring Committee. Their latest stop is Apapa and Alimosho local government areas.
Officials of the Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture Food Palliatives Monitoring Committee make their way into Alimosho local government area to monitor the distribution exercise of the food support initiatives rolled out by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to assist the people at this difficult time. The local government store is loaded with bags of food items for vulnerable residents of Alimosho. A member of the Food Monitoring Committee explains the process of distribution and what each household is entitled to.
The committee has a mandate to ensure that the less privileged, the most vulnerable in our communities have access to this palliative. And the way of doing it was to generate data through Lastra and their names and their addresses and phone number in various communities. So hitherto, before the commencement of delivery of the items, we ask all the CDCs in each local government and LCDA to submit names, 5,000 names of various household members with data like that, Lastra number, to show that they actually live in Lagos. And when you have 1,000 bag of rice, the rice is in 25 kg. So also is beans, 25 kg. So therefore, 5 kg of rice and 5 kg of beans goes to each household. Then 2,000 bags of gari, 10 kg of gari goes to each household. So each household or each beneficiary will now get 20 kg of food items as support from Mr. Governor.
Some of those who have received the package are grateful for the support.
I've got in mind, and it's a welcome development. It's a thing that we want to appreciate the Honorable Governor for, our His Excellency Mr. Sanwo-Olu, for this laudable job he's doing in Alimosho and in Lagos State as a whole. I think the distribution of the food has gone a long way to solve the food shortage in the household of Lagos State.
The vice chairman of the community applauds government's efforts in reducing food budget expenses on households.
This is not the first time. We have gotten palliative before, and it was evenly distributed to those that need to be given to. Because at times some people will say it doesn't get to them. The palliative is meant for the vulnerables. And I trust the CDC chairman here, who is an elderly person, and he has been handling the palliative as it was supposed to be managed.
Moson Kuala Local Council Development Area, also in Alimosho, is the next stop for the team.
We received 1,000 bag of beans, 1,000 bag of rice, 2,000 bag of gari. We are still looking for more.
We have received the palliative from the state government through the Moson Kuala CDC, and we promise the governor that we will do the needful.
From Alimosho to Apapa local government area, they are set to carry out the same exercise.
I would like to appreciate you with the deep of my heart. With everything in my body, I appreciate you. But we still need more.
Some youths who are on ground for their council election also benefit from the food palliatives.
We were able to benefit from the Onjaiko, from our able governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu. We really want to appreciate him. We want to thank him very well that the youth are being carried along.
The administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu assures the people of reaching out to all local government areas and local council development areas.
And that's Newsroom series. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.